It is Stroke Play Sunday here at the WEMIX Championship, the second and final round, with two sets of groups going head to head. We have the A final, we have the B final, and of the former, No Sungi is in the lead after 9 holes at 3 under par, coming into this event as the 18 seed. She was brilliant in the match play yesterday and has that one-stroke cushion over Sung Eugene and Pengxin Shil. Im Genie, the number one, and the player coming in fresh off of her 4th win, a tour high, is just 1 under through 7 holes. Chung Yun Jin, she is the last one at even or higher. She is in sole possession of 8th. And then we go to page 2 of the B final. Park Ji-young, she leads at 3 under through 9 as well. Pae So-hyun, 2 under through 12. Chae Rim, Park Yang-young, 1 under through 10 and 9 respectively. Then we have Han Shin-sun, Lee Jae-young, and Lee So-young all tied at even par. Chun Ye-sung is plus 1 through 11. Lee Dae-yeon is plus 1 through 10. Hung Yoo-min plus 1 through 9. Matt Ta-som plus 3 through 11. And bringing up the rear, Park Yeol plus 4 through 12. This is the world's first blockchain-based golf tournament, a very special event we have to bring to a close the 2023 season. We had the final event of the tour last week, and now one special bonus initiative with 24 of the best in the nation going head to head this week here in Busan, and thankfully significantly warmer. In fact, twice as warm today as it was yesterday. It was down to 7 degrees by the end of the match play rounds. Up to 15, and the wind still steady, a bit blustery at 4.7 meters per second, with that wind coming out of the southeast. Great to have you aboard. This is the Hyundai Beach Golf and Resort, a 27-hole facility. We had to throw things around yesterday just to make sure we got everybody in time with the conditions, the cold, the frost in the morning, but we should be back to our normal run of events, playing the mountain course on the way out, the ocean course on the way in, with plenty at stake, certainly, on this final round. So it was a race all season long from the Lotte Rent-A-Car Ladies Open to begin the season all the way through to last week's final round. We have 1 million WEMIX up for grabs. An NFT where 1 WEMIX equals around 2,401. And you multiply that, that's some easy math that I can do, and tell you that it is 2.359 billion won combined through NFTs that will be awarded this week to the fields. And without further ado, we say good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for making us a part of your Sunday afternoon plans. It is just past 1 p.m. local time here in Busan, and we will begin our stroke play coverage on hole number 10 with No Sungi. It is a bogey-free round thus far. Her birdies, they came at 2, 5, and 8 to go out with a 33. They're the first group to tee off on 10. No Sungi as the highest, or excuse me, the lowest ranked seed at number 18. Also sharing the course with Lee Jae-young and Pengxin Shil this afternoon. They teed off just a little less than 3 hours ago. And the instant reaction from Lee Jae-young really said it all, but the sound of the tree branches and the drop of the ball tells you that that wasn't her best drive of the week. Her birdie, the one and only, came at number 4. EA1, she is on the 8th green, looking to move into a share of the lead. Needed that for a birdie, but she'll have to settle for par. And that leaves us with Pengxin Shield. Birdies at 1, 4, and 6 on the way out. Qualified for the A final by virtue of upsetting Bak Yeongyang 3 and 2, the final. She did a fantastic job in the front 9 to really create the advantage, the 3-stroke cushion. And 3 consecutive pars on the way into closing it out. And Ginny, her win had been over Pak Biel, and it was one of the largest margins of victory, the other being Sun Yunjin, both winning 5 and 4. And she has another birdie to her credit here, recovering from the bogey 1 hole prior. Isami was absolutely dynamite on the way out yesterday. She'll be hoping for more of those birdies when she reaches that part of the course later on this afternoon. She had defeated Pei So-hyun 3 and 2 in yesterday's match play. And now right to left putt that breaks just a bit too early. Bak Ji-young could have moved into the outright lead. She is quietly putting in one of the 3 best rounds of the day. Unfortunately, for her sake, she is in the B final. So Wee Young plays a provisional just in case. This time she finds the fairway, and now her hunt will begin for that initial tee shot. Bak Yeongyang, it was a par save that she needed. Excuse me, the second birdie. The bottom of the scorecard didn't update. 2 under is where she goes with that make. That is 1 off the lead in the B final as we go back to 9. Isomi starting to fade the opposite direction. Needed it to break left, but that little bit of movement didn't come in until she was level with the hole. So she'll settle for a par as she goes out with a 35. Another close call for Chung Yun-ji, who you could forgive for being a little bit on the tired side of things today after a 7-hole playoff yesterday. That's right, 7, where she outlasted Matt Tassom. 25 holes the day before the final round is certainly less than ideal. She's at even. Nice approach up on the green. Some distance out yet. Next is Iga Young. So she was not able to find that ball. So she takes the penalty stroke and trying to tuck it in tight with her approach. Puts herself with about 4 meters. Almost dead center of the green in terms of the length of the putting surface. 10 yards from the left side here at hole number 10. Close to her birdie at number 8. This her approach at 9, and it's something special. She remains bogey-free as she looks to also go out with a 33 and share the lead at the turn. Speaking of the lead, this is No Soon-Yi, number 1. She looks to pick up where she left off on the front 9. The break looks good. The speed just slightly lets her down. Rejoin the action with Imjini and her group, joining her in the 4th and final of the A final. EA1 Kim Min-byul. For these 3 competitors, their matches yesterday went to chalk, meaning they were each the high seeds, as you might expect, and each were able to come away with their respective victories. pitching back for a little bit extra power based on how far off from the pin ENG had been, and she's going to have her work cut out for her in search of that par next. Meantime, we go to 10. 104 for Sung Eugene from the middle of the fairway. It is a pitching wedge. Going to be slightly off to the left here on the approach. She gets a bit of a roll towards it. Solid approach as we move on to 11 with no Sungi. The first of two par 3s on the back nine, this and 15. Both incredibly short par 3s as well. 139 here with a Volvo up for grabs for anyone who might have an ace. This is an exceptional tee shot, but not quite the distance for a hole-in-one. Jane Shield next to tee off with an 8-iron. Couldn't get it to bite. She, benefit of hindsight, or if everyone was offered a mulligan, she'd probably take a 9 out of the bag instead. Eugene in her Sunday orange for birdie. Just a little short. One of 4 players at the moment tied at 2 under in this A final. Looking to avoid her second bogey of the day. She had dropped a stroke at number 6. Just a little tough to get it started, but by a hair off right. So down she does go, and it is a 35 on the way out. Same as Isomi, who she is now tied with for 5th. So a refresh of the leaderboard, 2 now tied at 3 under. Pengxin Chilsung Eugene at 2 under apiece. Isomi and Imjini 1 under as they lead the A final. And we take our first break of the afternoon. We'll have more for you from Hyundai, Gulf, and beach golf end result, excuse me, right after the break. And welcome back. More on this set of approaches, and another case where a quick off the back. Certainly with less cool temps and no frost this morning. The greens aren't playing as firm as they had done yesterday with the sunshine throughout the day, but they're definitely playing quick. Punching chill from off the green catches a piece of the inside lip, but not enough to hole out. So EA1 takes the first step with the first shot of the back nine. She'll be hoping that she only has 32 more shots left today. That number would likely be enough to see her claim the final event of the season. And now Bakji on 214, her third shot on par 5. With the big club trying to reach, and will not quite have enough to get through the fairway before the green. Tell you, with 5 more yards of carry, should have been skipped and in a very promising position. So he could have recaptured sole ownership on the top spot on the leaderboard, but leaves that barely over the edge. Fairway, no issues finding it as this group is on the march. Park Young at an even 200, and she is in fact going to find the green. So she will be putting for an eagle. She'll want the rangefinder to make sure, but she did see that white ball trickle on. Valiant effort with a little bit of left to right action at the end of the roll, but not quite enough to drop in at 10. Sung Eugene, she had birdied here yesterday. She actually birdied hole 10 and hole 11, 2 of her 4 on the back 9. Different pin placement today, almost in a little valley between the 2 elevation changes. It will be an interesting putt. Ian parred the par 5s at 1 and 4. She makes her first on the ocean course and rolls down to the left side of the fairway. Business for Bungie and Shield. Didn't even need to see where it would land because she knew she was going to be in a good spot. Essentially pin high. Not quite a tap in for a birdie, but in a really good spot. Now 107 for EA1 on her approach at 10. A couple of these that she's had today. having some fun out on course, but imagine there's a conflicting set of emotions. The excitement of one final round before a slight break, though, for pro athletes, certainly in this sport. The off-season seemed to get shorter and shorter. Hone in their craft, but everyone will be happy to maybe even fly somewhere warm for a couple of weeks, put their feet up, maybe golf once or twice a week instead of the 4 or 5 that they're used to. And Ginny just about lands that directly in the hole. It was maybe a foot to its left. And she comes in with the momentum, there's no doubt about it. Panthers left 2 off the pace, though she is playing in the featured and final group today, the number 1 seed of this WEMIX Championship for 2023. We'll have more for you from Busan in just a few moments.
북쪽으로 내리자마자 보면 우측으로 빠지면 진짜 내려고 그 우측으로 빠지지 말고 좌측으로 1차선 위험은 그 영경으로 가면 되거든. 예예예예예 그걸로 내리면 그거
back to Hyundai. Sung Eugene on the quest for birdie and a share of the lead. It goes slightly offline. EA1 currently in a share for that lead, can take it outright and be the first player in both finals to 4 under. From our perspective, we can expect some left to right. Right to left for her and slightly uphill. Gives it a decent swing, and actually she gets maybe the luckiest bounce of her season. That was going missed, and the ball marker helps her out. So she's gonna have to owe her groupmate a tee or something after the round, I presume. But in the end, she does go to 4 under. And watch the reaction from her. She's thinking, oh no, I've missed this. Hang on a second. Can I even celebrate this? She asks herself, and the answer is, of course she can. She is now our leader with a little bit of luck. Ginny also uphill, but the break she was accounting for ended up being less substantial than she thought it might be. Stays straight and ends up as a par. She finishes her 10th hole of the day, and she is still tied for 5th. Jungmin for a bird at 11. Take her back to even. Her first birdie of the day after having dropped at 6. She's tied for 7th now. And now Bak Jiang starts right to left. Was hoping it would come back. Glances down, wondering how she got that line so wrong. Next up at 11 is Isomi. She rides the left edge of the green. About 6.5 meters too long. Up as a bogey, so that drops her out of 13th position, which would tell you she was leading the B final and is now level with Isoyoung, Chae-Rim, and Pak Young. Chung Yoon-ji, that's where we go next. At 11, and is going to get a helpful roll. This actually might spit itself out on the green. Stays on the fringe, but also a little bit deep. You can tell a rather obvious strategy. Go a bit long and have an uphill putt versus managing the downhill speed. Pak Young with a bit of a shocker there. She's tied for 17th now, at even with that bogey. Also an even 200 for No Sung Yi at 12. Especially when it's downhill, you can't fault anybody for playing brave and trying to reach. A lot of 3 and 5 woods here. Mika Young, never one lacking for distance. Just doing absolutely marvelous. There is a world where that goes in for an albatross, but they're about as rare maybe as a phoenix, if we could give it a different name. Double eagle, second on a par 5, but still a chance for an eagle that would see her vaults up the table. Mine was fairly red, but the speed not quite managed as well by Chung Yoon-ji. She'll look for a par at 11 next. Here's Peng-Shin Shil in the interim, 173. Could really play a hybrid here if she wanted to. That's far too much club. Tells you just how powerful a hitter she is. She actually goes with an iron and ends up off the back. No upward movement for Isomi today. In the match play yesterday, not sure that her partner would have given her the nod to just pick that ball up. Still has some work to do on 11. EA1 is now our outright leader with a little bit of luck, getting a deflection off a ball marker and descending to 4 under par. Through 10 holes of play, playing the Ocean Course on the way in here at the Hyundai Beach Golf and Resort in Busan.
이렇게 선생님이
We'll rejoin the coverage with Punch and Shield nearly holding out for a massive pickup. That would have been for her eagle. She could be disappointed that it's only one. That would have vaulted her right to the top, but it's a great birdie. It's tied for second with No Sung-yi. Now Park Ji-young misses at 13. It's a lovely approach of her own. Tiptoeing all the way up, and that is also just shy of a 2-under score, but it is a long-awaited return to even par for Lee Ga-young once she taps that in. I think we're tied for 7th. In the meantime, Park Yeong-gang gonna float this up at 13 and does really well. The Ocean course was certainly playing a little bit kinder in terms of the birdies yesterday, and that feat seems to be remaining consistent. This is a tough one for No Sung-yi. Downhill, praying she was online. She most certainly was. She's done brilliantly today, basically averaging a birdie every 2 holes. Birdie, 2 pars, birdie, 2 pars. That's very conducive to a potentially championship deciding mark. Go to 13. Her judgment of speed today has been a little bit lacking, if we're being fair. Reading the breaks quite well, but she's not really giving the ball its best opportunity to turn into birdies. She is still hanging around the top of the B final. 1 back at 2 under. She doesn't quite have her fate in her own hands in this final round, having teed off in the first group of the A final back at 10-16, but she can certainly try to continue applying the pressure to EA1, who is currently looking for back-to-back birdies for the first time today. No ball marker to lend a hand, and I think even with a little bit more speed, that might have gone wide. So it'll be a par at 11. Chill with another huge blast. It'll roll into the rough. The next group to come through and, I won't say play greedy, but have the chance to play bold on the par 5. It's a huge roar. A deserved one for Park Young-gung. So that's her third birdie since hole number 8 and is into a tie for 13th position. Nearly there for Imjini, who is stagnating a little bit. The 2 bogeys on her scorecard not doing her any favors. That is now consecutive pars to begin the back 9. Sung Eugene, 1 revolution of that ball away from her eagle. Let's take this flag stick out just in case, she says. And the birdie is confirmed. She goes into a tie for 3rd with Peng Xin-xiu. 3rd birdie of the day, not a single bogey. She has been playing some fantastic golf. And that will change how page 1 of the leaderboard looks. No Seung-yi, A1, both at 4 under par. Sung Eugene, Peng Xin-xiu at 3 under, as just mentioned. Lee So-mi, Im Jini tied for 5th at 1 under. We have Lee Ga-young, Hung Jung-min, and Chung Yun-ji at even, tied for 7th. Kim Soo-ji with Kim Min-byul. They are also at an even par mark with Peng Min-ji, the highest of those in the A final. Pae So-hyun and Park Young-gung in the B final, tied for 13th. Lee So-young, Jae-rim, Park Ji-young at 2 under par. Then Han Shin-sun, Lee Da-yeon, and Lee Jae-young at even, tied for 18th, as our coverage of the WEMIX Championship for 2023 continues. Welcome back. It is 2 p.m. local time here in Busan, the southeast corner of this fantastic country, and its top flight golf tour is putting on one final show for the 2023 season. A little bit of an all-star competition playing in the Globe's first blockchain-based golf event. This is the WEMIX Championship. Great to have you along with us. For our SBS Golf team, I'm Adam Jenkins. It's so nice to have you along on this mid-November Sunday on a much warmer Hyundai Beach Golf and Resort. Fantastic aerial view of this 27-hole facility looking towards the sea, with the Busan metropolitan city just to our west. The conditions remain near perfect for November the 19th. 14 degrees, mostly sunny skies. Certainly a bit of a windy one. 5.6 meters per second the wind today out of the southeast. Grateful you could make us a part of your Sunday plans. Kim Min Biol, she is the rookie champion for 2023. Not having the best of luck today with 2 bogeys and a birdie, and her birdie came all the way back at hole number 4. Has some work to do on her way in. DA1 with her absolute dominance of the tour this season, winning just about every key race that we tracked this season, other than the most wins this season, which went to the aforementioned ENG. Has also seen her global stock soar, 34th in the world right now, slightly off of her year-long best of 31. Only a couple weeks removed from a tie for runner-up at the S-Oil Championship. Three wins this season: the Tucson ENC Weave Championship, the 23rd Haita Jinro Championship, and the Lotte Rent-A-Car Ladies Open. First 3 wins of her career after coming awfully close a couple of times in 2022, where she finished runner-up 3 times, 3rd an additional 3, and 4th through 10th 7 more. She was brilliant as the rookie to contend with. Park Young is going with a 6-iron on 14. Judge the distance quite well. It's a bit of a tricky pin placement for this championship Sunday round, just off the front. As we go to 13, bit of a tricky one downhill for No Seung-Hee, but it is for the outright lead. A little too much right to left break, however, and she will be settling for a par. Just about able to go back to back. Step up slightly to the right, and it will be par.
앞에 움직이지 마세요.
back. A valiant try. Just the tap in for Peng Shil at 13. The simplest of pars. And here it comes, looking very good. And that will give her something to celebrate today. Pei So-hyun wasn't her most proficient day as she nears the end, but is just hanging on as she tries to top the B final, coming towards the end of her round. And now back to 12. Jung Yoon-ji putting from essentially the fridge. This is going to start right. She needs it to get over, but continues to break in the wrong direction. And in fact, she's just about on the fringe once more. Park Young-kyung, who is looking for back-to-back birds. A little bit too far out for even someone of her esteemed caliber. That'll be par. Well, she didn't make that easy on herself, did she? But it was about the same type of putt that finally won her the playoff yesterday, and all of that just to save a par. She stays at even. That is tied for 18th position. Hop, skip, and roll through the fairway. Good initial drive. Down to the final 5 holes for her to try and create a bit of separation atop the leaderboard. And the day of misjudging power unfortunately continues for Park Ji-young. So meanwhile, can take outright 5th and has done so. Just her second birdie of the day and her first since hole number 6.
살짝이라도. 나무,
Not quite the same luck for Sung Eugene, who for the second time in the last quarter of an hour or so has the tap in, which requires the flag to be withdrawn. This is a really nice vantage. Out towards the sea, fountain off to the left. The narrow run in, slight dogleg right.
살짝 우측이 나을까?
자, 플레이했습니다.
Year one with one last glance at the wind. Chung Yoon-ji and Peng Min-ji, the only two of the A final who have played number 12 and not at least birdied. Also still waiting for our first eagle here. EA1 204, that seems to be the prototypical remaining yardage. She's going to get quite literally pin high, but some distance away to the right.
왼쪽보다
Genie next. 14 meters closer at 190. She played a fine line and she narrowly stays out of the sand. Closest to the pin off the tee, surprisingly, is Kim Min-byul. 179, and she will join EA1 to the right side of the green and glance at the different breaks so she can start mentally preparing as this group, who has been on course for 3.5 hours now, strolls down the fairway. Back with our leader. 146, her second shot. Grabs the hybrid. See what she can do. Great depth. A little bit off center compared to what she would have been seeking, but chins at a birdie nevertheless. Now on 18. Pei So-hyun, Park Yeol, and Han Chin-sung. They were the first group to tee off this morning. They are thus the first group to come to this final hole. Two brilliant approaches. Pei So-hyun looking to try and shore up 13th position, which would be tops of the B final. And now Bang Shin-shil. Fancy that. Go to the par 3, 177. 132-meter par 3 on the front nine. This certainly testing the hybrid proficiency. Again joins her group mates all the way to the back left. And only just stay on line long enough for Pacquiao to pick up a birdie. Just her third of the day. Started with a double bogey and was playing a bit of recovery for the rest of the afternoon. Takes her to outright 23rd as she comes in with a 74. And Pengxin Shield just about had an odds-defying birdie, but she'll settle for par. So Yen, she comes in with a 34. It is 3 under. And at the top for now. We'll see if it sticks. Takes 2 putts to reach the finish line for No Seung-Yi. That becomes 3 pars on the bounce. And now Park Young over at 15. A lofted chip. Maybe could have used a little bit longer, split second longer in that backswing. So Eugene at 14, it's a 7-iron, a $140. Playing towards the left side of the green here. A little bit of the tailwind to complicate matters a slight bit. We reach the par 5 12th for the final time. EA1 11.4 meters, and she could ascend quite quickly into an almost uncatchable lead. Speed needs to stay. The speed has stayed. The line is exquisite, and it is our first eagle here of the day. 6 under she goes. And in the final group, well, she certainly has this tournament in her hands. What a great putt that was. absolutely had to ensure she started this online, and it was going to pick up a little bit of speed towards the tail end. The downhill nature of the putts, and that's worth a worthy roar. Jeannie, meanwhile, despite her best efforts, fails to pick up any points, as that was for her birdie. She'll settle for a par. That is 3 holes down on the back 9, only 6 to go. And back to the B final, Pak Young. She was long. Chip left a bit to be desired. It ends up being a 2-putt bogey. So we drop back into a tie for 14th. Wheels down, 6 to play, and 6 under par for EA1. 4 of the last 6 holes, par 4s, can absolutely do the business.
자, 플레이하겠습니다.
One more look at this absolutely extraordinary eagle. She got to pin high. It was a great approach, but I think even she would have thought getting close, take the birdie, move on to the next, but she just kept picking up the speed, the perfect amount to use the flagstick as a backstop. Run through 12 holes, 4 birdies and an eagle. There's a reason she is one of the best on the planet right now. Let's fast forward to 15. Final par 3 for No Seung Yi, who in the blink of an eye is running out of time to get back to the top. And some additional WEMIX coin up for grabs. For a hole-in-one here, Peng Shin Shil, 5-iron, is her club of choice. She also heads left. The eastern boundary of the course. Could probably throw an American football into the sea from here if you got a running start. That's how close we are And I'm telling you, these drone pilots this week are being spoiled with some of the views they're able to capture. Those have been a fun implementation to the tour this season. Isomi downhill for birdie, just about. Speed was perfect. Lost the line at the bitter end. She stays 4 back in sole possession of 5th. And now Sung Eugene could have used a big gust of wind to do her a solid. She reaches under par. Tied for 6th now. It is just the second time all day she has birdied. And her second time all day that she's been under par. The first since hole number 3 as we go to the par 3 15th. Starting uphill before quickly converting to a downhill. 5 feet short for Peng Xin-Xiu. Kim Soo-ji, who had a rocky start, has put together back-to-back birdies here to move to 1 under. Noam Genie, it's a 90-meter approach. Playing this from the rough, and she's going to get a very helpful downhill roll. Took that out expertly. There's a reason she comes into this tournament as the number 1 seed. A similar position, albeit quite a bit closer. ZA1. She can afford now a couple of pars in a row. She could really coast for the next 45 minutes and still likely have the time to turn it into a win at the end. And for No Sung-yi, she went out with a 33 and was in a really great spot, but starting to wonder if she used up her birdies a bit too early. So it is a par, and 1 hole closer to the finish line for No Sung-yi. go to 18. The next group to come through, finish up their rounds, consists of EJ Young, Lee So Young, and Chun Yu Song. If you're going to save one of your best shots for the end, you might as well do it where the crowd is swelling. If not for a double bogey for EJ Young on the final hole before the turn, she would be able to tap that in and finish tied for the B final lead. Peng Xin meanwhile, registers bogey number 2 today. Drops her to a tie for 5th with Lee So Mi at 2 under. Kim Min-byul is looking for her 3rd birdie on the bounce. And she would have had it had she granted herself a little bit more space to the outside of the hole to start. She'll stay at 1 under for now. Chung Yoon-ji now with a 6-iron on 14. Catches some of the fringe just before the green. Not quite pin high, but close. Just when you think she's going to take a hole off, she reaches back deep into the bag of tricks and finds another long-range birdie. Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds on the roll. That's how far out it had been. Seven under now, 3 strokes clear. Just 5 holes remaining. Ginny, she is now 6 strokes off the pace and just seems to have a birdie curse today. And Lee So Mi on the par 4 gets nice and comfortable beside her group mate on the green. First effort on the par 3 is in the next town over.
실례하십니다. 이쪽 멈춰주세요.
Well, the A1 is all but won this event already, and she still has lots of golf to be played. I told you she loves the par 4. She started it with a birdie, and now she tees off on 14. And surprise to nobody, it's another good one into the fairway. Lee Jae-young ends the day with birdie. It is her 4th. She finishes at 1 under.
아이폰으로 그냥 찍으면 그래서 그게 흔들리면 잡아요. 근데 난 지금 소리 날까봐. 어떻게 소리 안 나요?
Just about a little bit of a blip to the right at the end. No doubt a quiet afternoon by Lee Jae-young's lofty standards. Down for even. And also Lee So-young. Just missing some of the birdies we'd expect from her. That is now 4 pars on the bounce. Still just 1 back of Lee So-young at the top. Park Young, meanwhile, with the first bogey of her day. That takes her out of a share of the lead to now Hong Jun-mi. Not quite there. Looking to birdie the par 3. As close as you can get without actually watching the ball descend into the cup. Tap in for Isomi. Park Ji-young at long last, her first birdie since number 9. She goes into a share of the B final lead at 3 under. It's 2:40 p.m. local time here in Busan, and starting to paint a much clearer picture of who will win this inaugural WEMIX championship and make sporting history as much as tour history. The first blockchain-based golf tournament. EA1 would be happy to add that to her ever-increasing list of accomplishments as she is comfortably ahead through 13 holes of play in this stroke play Sunday at Hyundai.
이 집에 쓸 수 있어? 된다? 쓸수 없어. 뒷방에 확실할 것 같아. 두번 다 팔면 맞추자. 약간 왼쪽? 살짝 앞에 마운드 있어가지고 그러면 너무 힘들어. 그 마운드. 그 앞에서 몇 시야 여기? 14. 좌측은? 6? 좌측 8. 살짝 왼쪽? 응. 신나고 되게 좋네.
밖으로 나가주세요. 밖으로 나가주세요.
Jeannie next to play her approach, and she joins the birdie bid party with the A1 nice and close. And that leaves Kim Min-byul on the fairway 106. As I'm sure we figured out, but just to make it official, 8 yards from the left, only 16 yards deep on this green, the pin today. And that's another nice one. Should have at least a couple going low here on 14. All the way to the back, just looking for a little bit extra bites. He's always going to carry and roll past. The upslope certainly doing everyone a favor. With No Seung-hee as her closest challenger, only having 3 holes to go. I think an 8 under score, if she can reach it, would become untouchable. The advantage right now is 3. No Seung-hee, Sung Yoo-jin rounding out the top 3. Pungshin Chili So-mi tied for 4th at 2 under. Hong Jung-min, Kim Soo-ji, Chung Yoon-ji, Kim Min-byul, and Lee Mi-ji all at 1 under. Lee Ga-young even, Pang Min-ji +2 to round out the classification of the A final. More from Busan in just a few minutes. We continue to roll right along. This is ENG in our featured group on the 14th hole for birdie. Has not seen one of these since number 8, so it will feel like a long time coming. Up to T4 she goes. We'll go to 15 next. The par 3. So me. Feels like a 2-putt par, but this seems like a magical line. Oh, that is excruciating. It even started to gesture as if it was going to fall. And I'm surprised that the players walk as fast as they do to their ball when it's hovering. You couldn't fault them if they went so far as to crawl or tiptoe over just to see if it would change his mind. Peng Xin has the little nudge for a par. We could not have asked for better weather. November the 19th, 2:50 p.m. in Busan, Korea, and we are still at what is essentially a balmy 14 degrees today. We are basically the southern tip of the mainland here in Korea, but still, this is a vast improvement over yesterday's conditions. Certainly the athletes are appreciating it, even more so the gallery. Well, for reference, while we wait, looking at the various performances from our finalists yesterday here on hole 15. Ginny actually had a rare bogey, her only one yesterday. E1 had parted, which saw her lost the hole to saw her lose the hole to Han Jin Sun and Kim Min Biao was able to birdie it. So one of each. Back to the tee in a moment. No Seung-yi. Here she is on her final par 5 of the day. She parred here in the match play.
Shot.
177. This looks to be 5-wood for EA1. Lands on the green to its right side. Just not quite as deep as she would have been hoping for. It's the back third of the green, 30 yards of its 46 in length. Kim Min-biao leaving the hybrids and the woods in the bag. She's gone for 4-iron, which is a rare sighting. But especially when that hybrid's not working, you go back to the iron, but it is definitely the hardest club to hit consistently. She's slightly off the green to its right, and down everyone runs. This on 17, Park Young to rejoin the fray, leading the B final, but started it too close to the center and drifts off to the right, and she will settle for a par. Sun Eugene, this is her approach on the par 5. Just shy of half a kilometer long this hole. She attacked the correct side. A little bit deep. Now Park Ji-young, who finally got her birdie on hole 16, trying to go back to back here. Yes, dialing in that putter at just the right time. It goes to 4 under. That is the top of the B final, and it is tied for the second best score out of the entire 24-player field on this championship Sunday. The A1 continues to lead comfortably on the final par 3 for our final group from No Seung-yi, Sung Eugene, Peng Shin-chil, Lee So-mi, and Im Genie. The top 4 and those tied at the WEMIX Championship. More from Busan as we near hour number 3 and 3 p.m. local after a short break. third hour begins with ENG narrowly missing a birdie. It's just been one of those days for the four-time winner this season. Next up is Kim Bial. This is a lengthy par save for her. Been a little bit quiet today. Trying to avoid bogey number 3. That's going to dive in and offline. It's a disappointing drop. It takes her back to even par, where she's now tied for 10th with Lee Ga-young. Leah won earlier in the round, had birdied the par 3 7th. Otherwise, 3 pars if she can get this 4-footer, which she does. Keeps the lead at 3. With 3 holes to play, her closest challenger only has 2 left. So, a few pars and she will become a history maker here in Busan. On to 17, Bangshin Shil. Safely call that a misread. Park Ji-young. 52-degree wedge on her approach at 18. Yep. She just needed it to click. It started to on 16 and has not looked back. What a brilliant run-in. Only the 1 bogey on the round. She no doubt was disappointed to be in the B final and not the A final after losing a tight one to Lee Ga-young in the match play yesterday. Finished 1 down after 18 holes. Next up is Park Yeon-gyung. Just has been lacking a little bit of precision today. She made a nice run around the middle part of her round. She finally got her birdie at 8, had another at 10, another at 13, but has since bogeyed and lost the magic she was starting to build. A1, she might be human after all. This looks right, and yeah, that is off into a treacherous location. So we can't put the crypto crown on her just yet. A bit of a disappointing result for No Seung-hee, as she could have closed the gap, but it is par. And we'll head to the last down 3. Kim Min-byul next. And she has been one of the best all season long on the par 5s, just has power to spare with that club. On and off the green quite quickly. Perched up, Isomi is on the fringe overlooking the flag. So yeah, well, going to take the provisional, but she's almost certainly going to need it. It's significantly better. without a scintillating shot to conclude the day. She showed glimpses in this final round, but she'll settle for a par, which seems fitting. 2 under, tied for 15th out of 20 for Park Young as she reaches the finish line. Now he's so me, putting from the fringe at 16, went all the way to the border of the bleachers, got some free relief, and slides that just a few meters shy of her target.
약간 핑크색.
약간 붉은기 있던데. 진짜. 이거 좀 바꿔줘. 한번 가지고.
아니 괜찮아요. 그냥 이거 걸로.
죽은 걸로 할까요?
안
그냥?
되고.
And next, Park Ji-young nearing the end. It's fitting. 3 birdies on the bounce to end the round, and what a round it was. 6 birdies in total. 5 under, the second best score out of everyone contesting the match play, and should be, well, in fact will be, the B final win. That's 13th position in the WEMIX Championship. So she decides that she's going to have to play the provisional. She can afford a bogey or two on the way in, if we're being honest. Advancing down, slightly off to the right. But it is all smiles between EA1 and her caddy as she is cruising towards one last win this season. It would be her 4th in the calendar year, and it would be fitting she wins the first event of 2023, the Lotte Rent-A-Car Ladies Open, and the last, this WEMIX Championship. Kim Soo-ji over on 16 with a nice birdie. Her third of the back nine. She had 2 bogeys in the first 4 holes, but has been near perfect ever since. She goes into a tie for 4th position. So Eugene in outright third and will stay there, as that was her shot to go low. And Izumi with a putt of about a meter, meter and a half. That's par. In well by Kim In-byul down the left side. First to reach the green of this solitary par 5 remaining on the docket today. Imjini is next. Not too long ago at 14. She still has the time to push for a podium finish, but she needs to turn a few of these into birds and gets up without any difficulty. Now E1. We're mindful of her penalties, so this is shot 5. Has to be close. She can afford a bogey. A double would make it very interesting. Though that would require a birdie from No Seung-gi to really bring her back within grasp. That'll stop just on the fringe. Hasn't bogeyed all day. Double would certainly be dramatic. It would unfortunately undo all of her good work at the last par 5, which of course was that breathtaking eagle. The only one of the day. Over to 18. No Sungi has to be close, has to be birdie to give herself a shot here. Gonna have to reach deep into her bag of tricks and see if she has one last highlight reel putt of the year. And Peng Shield, you could hear the roars and the encouragement as she comes awfully close. First of the 8 final groups to make it to the 18th green. And EA1 gesturing in a rare burst of animated expression from her, playing to the crowd a little bit. That would have been a chip in from the fringe to avoid a double bogey, but that wayward drive and an approach off the green cost her 2 strokes. So she had been without a bogey to this point of the round. She doubles 16. Her lead is down to 1. And we'll have 2 holes to recover. And it makes 18 right now with no Sydney all the more interesting. So we got one more look at how close she was. The gallery was hoping to see it comply. To be fair, you consider some of the luck she's had in the rounds, most notably the little nudge off the ball marker, and you think, okay, she was due. Everyone's luck expires at some point. Now ENG again, it's an opportunity to move into a share of a podium spot. Be your second birdie in 3 holes, but she's pushed it wide. Over to 18. Peng Shield can end the day with a birdie. That looks right, though. Yeah, doesn't come back for her. So after going out with a 34, she comes in with an even 36. It is a 2-under round in the stroke play competition. Tied for 4th. No late round magic for Kim Min-biel either, unfortunately. So after her bogey at the last, she pars here. And that will spell the end for 16. Down to 2 holes. We can't say we won't need a playoff yet. We certainly didn't think that 15 minutes ago when they teed off here. No Seung-yi has to do her part. This would be for a piece of the co-lead, but she leaves it short. And she's just done EA1 a big favor. Couldn't replicate the birdie success she found in the front 9. It is a bogey-free round. It is a fantastic round for No Seung-yi. It might just be narrowly not enough. Now ENG, this is for a par. About a 4-footer. Left to right and in. That'll keep her tied for 4th at 2 under with 2 holes to play. While we wait for the final group to reach the 17th tee, let's go to the 17th fairway. Isomi playing her second shot. A delightful little approach to about 4 meters. And now it'll be a brief pause, chance for a chat and maybe a snack. I think everyone's just relieved they didn't have to bring their parkas with them today. And Kim Min-byul is right. If there's anything to be mindful of weather-wise on this Sunday, it is the wind, which is still holding steady at 5.2 meters per second. Takes us to just under 19 kilometers an hour. It's certainly a factor. It is one of the purest and most graceful swings on tour, especially with the driver. He's just absolutely lights out. Cannot understate how important that is in the modern game as well. Consistently give yourself an extra 10-15 meters on the fields, brings your wedges in a lot more precision. I think after a rookie championship this season, she will be one to watch heading into 2024. Over 218 in the interim. Sung Eugene looking to set up a birdie, which would take her to a tie for second. A perfect triangle around the pin from Shi Pengmin-ji and Hong Jung-min. And EA1 here, you have to imagine just telling yourself, take a breath, don't try to send this into the sea. Pars are just fine. That looks much more like it. Actually goes right for the tee, would tell you she agrees, and that would be why. Well, we're about 25 minutes away from popping some champagne, but while the top of the leaderboard seems to be fairly set in stone, there's still plenty of business to attend to from the mid-pack. Isomi and Kim Soo-ji at the moment, both at 2 under. Both with 2 holes to play. Isomi has not birdied since the par 5 12th. She has just the 2 on the day to go along with 14 pars. Should be a fairly straight and simple putt. Might dive to the bottom of our screen. It does so, but it also dives to the bottom of the hole. Nice birdie for Isomi. She goes tied for third at 3 under and fist pumps all around, because she is now sharing that score with this young lady, Sung Eugene. The opposite break, left to right. Over at 18. Has to give it a good swing to make sure it gets up the hill, and not quite enough though. The line was perfect. So she too had not birdied since number 12. So 6 pars in a row as she finishes the round with a score of 69. Tied for third as she exits the course. Bogey free is always something to celebrate.
이 128개 점프 땡기는 것 같아. 그치?
So the plans are finalized on the 17th fairway. All up to the execution now. One last check of the wind, make sure every variable is accounted for. But as we wait, a refresher on why this suddenly became a much more interesting finish. On the tee at 16, she knew it wasn't good, and you can see that's Kim Min-byul's caddy pointing right. And unfortunately for when he was correct, directly OB. So she played a provisional, got it to the fairway, couldn't find the green with what was then her 4th stroke with the penalty. Just about chipped in, but failed to do so, so it became a double bogey and made the final few holes of this competition all the more interesting. Imjini is away, and it's 136, and that is absolutely marvelous. It is currently a 4-player tie for 4th. Couple of birdies on the home stretch, and it could be as high as a runner-up finish for Imjini, who came in as the number 1 seed in this competition. Doesn't need a birdie here. In fact, she could par the last 2 holes and still be the champ, but from 130, if she can be close, if she can find a birdie, she can cruise through 18. She'll kiss off the back fringe, and this seems like the par part of the equation. She's just a performer, isn't she? Making sure we have action to the very last swing of a putter in 2023. Kim Min-byul, disappointing day for her in the grand scheme of things. She is even, that is 11th and the 2nd worst in the A final. One final time today is So Me off the tee, fresh off a birdie as well. Tension turns, however, to 17. A little bit of landscaping to be done before the putts can be had. It's much more up and down front nine for ENG. 3 birdies, 2 bogeys out with a 35. All pars with one exception, coming back on number 14 for Kim Min Biel. That has been 2 birdies on the back nine after going out with a 37 through the opening 9. One of the many benefits of playing in the last group, the last trio, even if EA1 were to 3-putt this and bogey once more, she would have the opportunity to make up for it on 18. A player who on a few occasions this season has made a putt of these 18 meters or so. It's going to start left. It's going to pick up a ton of speed down towards the valley. It's going to be just off to the right. We'll still call that mission accomplished. She'll tap in, have a 1-stroke advantage heading to the last. And next, quite literally, a more straightforward putt. Downhill and needs to get back. Don't blame her for being a little bit cautious. So that's par number 1. Expect 2 more in quick succession. ENG to move into a tie for 3rd. What an approach this was, leaving her with 2 meters at most. Enough break to ensure she has to think about it, but not enough to detract her. 2 birdies in the last 4 in a wonderful spot to take a share of the runner-up spot when we get to 18, which is precisely where we find Isomi and company. And yeah, that spells exactly what we've grown to expect from her. A 3-footer at most, it'll be her final shot of the year. Basically this exact putt, just 1 hole further forward. EA1 secures that par. Call that a good bounce back from the double at 16, and now 4 strokes, on the final hole to win the championship, the WEMIX championship. and make some history. Certainly the gallery behind the 18th green is ready to witness either that win secured or maybe some bonus golf. Noticing you can't quite go into full decompression mode. She might be in a playoff, and depending on what Isumi does, she might be required as well.
저기 앞에 빠르게 좀 이동해 주세요. 빨리 이동해 주세요. 저기 앞에 좀 빨리 좀 이동해 주세요. 멈춰 주세요. 자, 플레이하겠습니다.
By virtue of her birdie, Ginny with the honor. Her final drive of the year. Barring a birdie and a playoff. Shouldn't put the cart before the horse. We know better, especially on this tour.
아니, 카메라 타워 왼쪽? 아니다. 나무나무 사이로 하게.
Wonderfully executed drive.
멀리 갔으면 너프까지 그.
자, 플레이하겠습니다.
네가 나무나무 사이가 너프야.
Be a very small list for Kim Min-byul of things that didn't go her way or could be even classified as disappointing in 2023. This round might be one of them, however. But a birdie could bring her into a tie for 9th. Call those a worm burner as they skip and roll with tons of speed just through the blades of grass and stopping in the rough.
선수 어드레스랑 카메라 버튼 누르지 말아주세요.
She wants to see it land before she joins the celebratory chorus. It is slightly into the rough, but that is more than playable. Par wins the event. It would be tied with Park Ji-young for the best round of the day. Unfortunately for Ji-young, it came in the B final. She was able to go out and secure the 13th spot of 24. Peng Min-ji has 12 locked up after a 74 for her, but what a triumphant return. It's a brand new tournament. It's the final of the year. The pomp and circumstance is rightfully just around the corner. Brand new trophy commissioned for this WEMIX championship. And yesterday, yes, for the match play, it was frigid. And that puts it mildly. Today, EA1 came soaring out the gates with the birdie on her second hole. Was bogey-free until her double at 16. And this is about as close to an all-star event as we get, because it has to be the 20 best in the WEMIX, the WE-made points throughout the season for invited players to round out the fields. We're used to tournaments of anywhere from 108 to 132. But this week, for 2 rounds, 24. Just the second match play event we saw after the Tucson match play, of course. And today, very cool to see it transition into stroke play. We'll transition to the 18th hole. Isomi, a birdie to go joint second, but she has pushed it. Bit of a surprising one, but that confirms a round of 69 with 2 bogeys on the front. Excuse me, reading Imjini's bogey-free round. That's what we're after. Of a 69, Imjini, who is about to finish, had the 2 bogeys on the front. Bearing down through the rangefinder just to make sure she knows the yardage. She'll pick and drop a few blades of grass to check the wind, though as we look down at the flag, we see it is just about motionless. Imjini also had part, so she is officially in with a 69 as well. And that leaves just 3 athletes on course.
자, 플레이하시라 이동 멈춰주세요.
So this isn't completely done and dusted. Imjini with a great approach and a birdie could still be required for what would become a 3-person playoff if EA1 were to bogey, but she has to take care of her own business first. 87 meters out, and I'd say she's taking care of that business. Assuming that putt drops, which based on, my goodness, thousands that we've witnessed this year, the track record would suggest that the worst outcome for her now is tied for second. If a playoff is to come, we hope it's not 7 holes like we saw yesterday, but in order to get there, EA1 would have to overhit or slice this, but it's only 74 meters, should be a simple enough wedge. 2 putts from there should be well within her wheelhouse. Never say never. That leaves Kim Min-byul, one of 7 players in the 24-player fields who have yet to eclipse and remain at under par. It's only 67 for her, just onto the fringe, and she saves one of her best shots of the day for the end. With that being in the tall grass, loses a bit of the backspin, but she is up comfortably. And we will step aside, lay out, and let the players be announced, and the gallery welcome this trio to the 18th green.
갤러리 여러분, 위믹스 챔피언십 2024 데이2 파이널 A그룹 마지막 조 선수들이 그린 위로 입장하고 있습니다. 선수 한 명 한 명 소개할 때마다 큰 박수로 맞이해 주시기 바랍니다. 가장 먼저 임진희 선수 있습니다. 이어서 이혜원 선수입니다. 마지막으로 김민별 선수를 소개합니다.
So everything will be decided in these next 2 minutes. If this goes in, or if this goes in 2, it will be the final putts of 2023. It's 7.7 meters for EA1. A birdie or a par wins the championship, and it's on its way. It'll stop less than a meter short. She's done more than enough, and she glances at her group mates to make sure they're okay if she marks it off, as is tradition, and an ear-to-ear grin on her face. She thought it might be this one. Just a little bit short, but she is through 66 strokes today. 999 times out of 1,000. That will go in. So now it's about classifying the rest of the field. Kim Min-byul would love to finish under par with the 71. Needs to start left. If anything, broke the opposite way. So for her final putt of the year, make sure she's not in Imjini's line. She taps in. It's a 72. It is 11th place in the WEMIX Championship. What a season it was for our 2023 rookie champ. For Imjini, a fair bit still rides on this putt. A birdie, and she finishes tied for second with No Seung-hee at 4 under. A little downhill, a little left to right. More break than she had accounted for. So instead, a quick realignment. It will be stroke 69. Pae So-hyun had shot this in the B final. Lee So-mi and Sung Eugene also in with 69s in the A final. And we can add Imjini's name to that list as well. And this is it. One final champion for 2023. A tap in and a fourth win of the year for EA1 with a 5 under par 67 to win the 2023 WEMIX Championship. So it is rightful and well-deserved celebrations for EA1, but also a celebration for all involved, as their seasons, as of 30 seconds ago, have officially come to an end. And those two exchanging a hug, Genie and EA1, both with 4 titles to their name in 2023. As we've grown to expect on the KLPGA Tour, preparations for the awards ceremony have already begun. The light green carpet is being rolled out. We revisit the championship clinching putts and a bit of golf history. The first blockchain-based golf event has been won by EA1. We expect to hear from our champ shortly. We will also expect to go through the round highlights, the final leaderboard, and of course, the awards. As we near 4 p.m. local, and we have reached the end of this fantastic season in a really cool event. I know I thoroughly enjoyed this one. Hope the same for you. Match play and stroke play over 2 days, 24 players, a tight field with the best of the calendar year going head-to-head one final time. And how grateful are we from the comfort of our broadcast booths or our couch that it was much warmer today. But of course, so many thank yous. First and foremost to you, our fantastic audience. Without you, we don't have these events to broadcast. I have to personally shout out all of the various camera operators, graphic operators, EVS replay team with SBS, the producers and directors there. My personal producer, I can speak for my colleague Tim, John Kim with SBS, who has kept us informed and bringing us all the pertinent information that we can then give to you all the way from April to now. Nazri Mohammed bin Mohammed of Media Pro Asia, another fantastic producer of mine, for helping and fielding all of the various emails and WhatsApp questions over the course of the year. Thank you to him. And our Spock team, who makes these remote broadcasts possible in the first place. It is truly a global event. I can speak from my studios in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, to Auckland, to Singapore, to Korea, of course, and to your homes. We are grateful, and we are certainly proud of the effort of 33 events this season.
Spread out, connects all day. Let's play. Every day, all day.
So while we wait for everything to be ready over at the 18th green, a look across to the East Sea. And a look at the final leaderboard for today. Only 24, so get your notepads out. EA1, who came in as the number 2 ranked seed, 5 under to win a 67. No Seung-Yi, the 18th seed with a 68 today. Brilliant play to finish second. ENG, Lee So-mi, Sung Eugene sharing the podium spot for bronze. Kim Soo-ji, Hong Jung-min, and Peng Xin-shil. 2 under 70s. Chung Yoon-ji, Lee Ga-young, 71s. Kim Min-byul, 72. And Peng Min-ji, as much as it was great to see her compete, it was also great to have her back after some difficult medical situations for her towards the late stages of the season. Over to the B final, Park Ji-young wins with a 67. That is, of course, tied with the A1's mark at 5 under. Pei So-hyun with a 3 under 69. Jae Ri So-young, Park Young-young, 2 under for them. Chun Ye-sung, Lee Jae-young with 71s. Hung Yoo-min, Han Shin-sun, Lee Dae-yeon, they finished tied for 20th at even. Park Yeol and Mata Som rounding out the field with 2 over 74s.
안녕하세요.
A little familiar for
감사합니다.
EA1, but some company. Our caddy Jordan.
감사합니다. 우선 올 시즌 마지막 이벤트 경기다 보니까 캐디 오빠 대신 이렇게 친한 서연이랑 같이 시합을 하게 됐는데 이렇게 즐겁게 플레이하다 보니까 좋은 결과로 이어진 것 같아요.
오늘 예언이가 너무 잘해줘가지고 사실 어제 조금 힘들었었는데 오늘 잘 이렇게 우승으로 마무리해서 너무 기쁜 것 같아요, 제가.
네, 저보다 라이를 더 잘 보는 것 같아서 좀 버디 퍼팅 할 때 도움을 많이 받은 것 같아요. 맞아요. 감사합니다.
아니, 그런 거 아니에요. 네.
어, 90점 주겠습니다. 네. 네. 네, 당연히. 네, 당연히 두둑히 챙겨줄 예정입니다.
네, 맞아요. 제가 우승이 아직 없어가지고 내년에는 꼭 우승을 목표로 열심히 하겠습니다. 저도 일단 나오고 싶었던 대회이기도 하고 그래서 조금 예언이 플레이하는 거 보고 그래도 많이 도움이 된 것 같아요.
네. 네. 올해 정말 만족스러운 한 해를 보냈는데 올 동계훈련도 제가 부족한 점을 보완을 많이 해서 내년에는 올해보다 더 나은 제가 되도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
수고하셨습니다. 수고했어.
수고했다.
Fairly impressive interview, we must say. Guest All-Star caddy joining the 20-year-old EA1, who has 4 wins now in her career. And all 4 of them coming this season. All in, 14 top 10 finishes. 9 times on the podium out of 30 events. I take it back. That's some 32%. Pretty impressive, including the Haita Jinro Championship, a major now to add to her growing list of accomplishments. And she'll get ready to walk the green carpet. We, in the meantime, will go through our final round highlights for you. Our final pack of the year. It's a little bit bittersweet. start early days in the round where there were 2 birdies in the first 4 holes. You can hardly find a single thing to critique with that brilliant performance to start it all off. EA1 took her just 2 holes to get into the birdie column, which she certainly made her own this Sunday afternoon. It was anything but understood. Generally on a Sunday, we come into work, we come in to tune in and know kind of who the protagonist will be, but with a blank slate, it made for a thoroughly entertaining final round with so many players in line to try and win this competition. Sun Eugene is certainly one of them. Would go to 2 under and take the lead very quickly in the round. Pak Jiyoung, meanwhile, of course she was disappointed to not be in the A final, but she didn't let that detract her and take her off of the mission of a couple of early birdies. Also in the B final, Lee So-young picking up a positive score as she neared the turn. This back on number 8, No Seung-hee. With the wind really playing a role, she was able to handle the necessary adjustments and pick up her 3rd birdie of the day as she would go out with a very, very impressive 33. Im Jin-hee was quiet at times throughout the day, but would remind us on multiple occasions why she was a 4-time winner this season, why she was the number 1 seed, and perhaps inspiring EA1 a little bit to reach back for her A game. That was her 2nd birdie. It came at hole 7. Next we go to 9. The final hole on the mountain course, and EA1 would make it back-to-back birdies. Also out with a 33. And she did not let the turn cool her off any. A big smile as she'd pick up 1 at number 10. Still tied with No Seung-hee on 12, and she was able to find one of her more impressive shots of the day, and that's saying something because she had many of them. The eagle, of course, vaulting her to 7 under. You're starting to think she was in cruise control. However, as we would shortly find out, despite a birdie to follow the eagle, it was not going to be a walk in the park. On 16, Pak Jiyoung taking care of business. She had to wait 6 holes before coming to this par 5 and delivering an exceptional birdie to go on and not look back. This on 17, just enough back-to-back. She wasn't done there. That took her to the top of the B final, and she would add 1 additional birdie with this fantastic setup shot with the 52-degree wedge on 18. 77 meters. Brought her within 3 meters or so, a little left to right, and bang up to her 67th and final stroke. 3 birdies on each the front and the back 9. It was a brilliant day for someone who dominated at this time of year last year. Back to the A final, however. On 17, Lee So-mi with her 3rd birdie of the day would have a chance at 18 to respond. Just a little too late, as was the case for Kim Min-byul all day long. That was shot 71, was hoping to get under par, but it was not to be. So she would tap in to finalize the even par round with 3 birds and 3 bogeys. Im Jin-hee with the little tap in. to take her to the top of a tie for third, a podium position for a four-time champ. And EA1 would become a four-time winner, both in her career and on the season as well. At that tap-in par to win the WEMIX Championship, and now she will be crowned for the first time in this event's history. Let's head back to the 18th green and enjoy the awards presentation.
먼저 한 시즌 동안 최고의 퍼포먼스를 기록한 프로에게 주어지는 위믹스 포인트 랭킹 1위 프로에 대한 시상이 진행되겠습니다. 위믹스 포인트 시상은 SBS 그룹 이상근 대표님께서 도와주시겠습니다. 위믹스 포인트 1위 시상금은 9만 위믹스로 프로의 화려한 퍼포먼스가 담긴 NFT로 수여가 되겠습니다. 이렇게 NFT로 시상을 하는 건 세계 최초인 만큼 위믹스 챔피언십이기 때문에 가능하다고 생각이 드는데요. 바로 발표하도록 하겠습니다. 2023 위믹스 포인트 랭킹 1위는 올 시즌 4승을 기록한 임진희 프로입니다. 축하합니다. 올 시즌 4승왕에 오른 임진희 프로가 이렇게 위믹스 포인트 랭킹 1위가 됐습니다. 최초로 NFT로 상금이 수여되는 새로운 역사의 현장이 아닐까 싶은데요. 1위 시상금은 9만 위믹스 NFT로 임진희 프로에게 수여가 됐습니다.
Gone are the days of the paper checks, are they not? As the We Made Points winner, ENG has 90,000 WEMIX coins added to her wallet.
이어질 시상은 홀인원 시상입니다. 위믹스 챔피언십 2023에는 파3 3개홀에 홀인원 상품이 있었는데요. 먼저 7번 홀에는 바디프렌드 팬텀 로보 안마의자, 그리고 11번 홀에는 아이언 오토 볼보 XC40 차량, 그리고 15번 홀에는 무려 10만 위믹스가 있었습니다. 자, 이번 대회 홀인원 아쉽지만 발생하지 않았습니다. 내년에는 꼭 홀인원의 주인공이 탄생하길 기대해 보겠고요. 이어서 바로 데일리 베스트 시상이 있겠습니다. 데일리 베스트는 바로 오늘 데이 2 스트로크 플레이에서 파이널 AB 그룹과 상관없이 가장 좋은 타수를 기록한 프로에게 시상하는 상입니다. 데일리 베스트 시상금은 무려 5만 위믹스인데요. 그럼 데일리 베스트 시상을 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 시상에는 해운대 비치 볼펜 리조트 박명진 회장님께서 도와주시겠습니다. 네, 여러분 박수 부탁드릴게요. 위믹스 챔피언십 2023 데이2 경기에서 5언더파 67타를 기록한 박지영 프로입니다. 축하합니다.
Park Ji-young congratulated and presented with 50,000 WEMIX coins for winning the B final this week.
둘째 날 스트로플레이에서 트로타를 주려는 박지영 프로가 KLA 게스트로 선정이 됐고요. 다시 한번 좋은 기록을 보여준 박지영 선수에게도 박수 보내주시고요. 시상을 도와주신 박명진 선수 감사합니다. 자, 그리고 시즌 최종전 여러분들이 기다리셨던 위믹스 챔피언십 2023 대망의 우승자 시상을 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 우승자에게는 우승 트로피와 상금 25만 위믹스가 수여되는데요. 2023년 KLPGA 투어 최고의 상금 규모입니다. 우승자 시상은 위메이드 장현국 대표님께서 시상하시겠습니다. 네, 여러분 대표님을 박수로 맞이해 주시기 바랍니다. KLPGA 투어 2023 시즌의 진정한 챔피언 위믹스 챔피언십 2023 대회 우승자는 데이1 매치 플레이에서 한진성 프로를 상대로 5업 승리, 그리고 데이2 5언더파 67타를 기록한 이혜원 프로입니다. 축하합니다. 정말 마지막 날 멋진 경기를 펼친 이혜원 선수에게 큰 환호와 박수를 보내주시기 바랍니다. 네, 이렇게 멋진 트로피가 전달이 됐고요. 매치 플레이 강자답게 이번 시즌도 멋진 모습을 보여줬습니다. 올 시즌 대상 그리고 상금왕 이렇게 3관왕을 차지한 이혜원 선수인데요. 자, 이제 제가 우승자 이혜원 프로를 호명을 하면 이혜원 프로가 트로피를 한껏 높이 들어주시고요. 함께 자리한 프로분들께서도 다 함께 축하해 주시기 바랍니다. 자, 위믹스 챔피언 2023 초대 챔피언 이혜원 선수입니다.
Well, for one final time this season, the trophy is hoisted, and it became a familiar sight this season after EA1 in her rookie year in 2022 seemed to do everything but get to the top spot of the podium. She did it 3 times on the tour this season and wins the final event, the WEMIX Championship. And she will be remembered in the history books for the season of dominance, the most prize money ever earned by an athlete on the KLPGA Tour, and as the winner of the first blockchain-based event, which this WEMIX Championship celebrated. 24 players in essentially an all-star competition that delighted us as we expected them to do. They certainly lived up to the hype. ENG came in as the number 1 seed, just came up a little bit short, and now has to share the mantle of 4 titles on the year with EA1, and how fitting it was based on their respective campaigns. It was one for the viewers on course. It was one for the viewers at home. We thank you for joining us for these 2 days this weekend, and we hope you enjoyed something a little bit new, something a little bit fresh. I know I certainly did, with match play Saturday, stroke play Sunday, and EA1 as a champion once again. 4 for the 20-year-old in 2023. The off-season, we promise you, won't be that long. We'll be back before you know it for the 2024 LPGA Tour of Korea season. My thanks again to John Kim with SBS Golf, for our Media Pro Asia team, and everyone at Spock for bringing these events to you all season long. Thank you so very much for joining us, and we'll see you very, very soon back on the LPGA Tour of Korea. I've been Adam Jenkins saying thank you for joining us, and so long for now.